She didn't simply walk out of the stadium. Before she had a reason to stay, she departed.
Y'all don't finally get the picture that men like Stefon Diggs don't give a I don't care what stature the woman is. I don't care if she was the Queen of England. I don't care. She is Cardi B.
Cardi's sister pressed the Instagram Live button and said everything that Cardi was too carefree to say herself, while the internet was preoccupied with her baby mamas and sideline drama. However, this is what no one is discussing. The Super Bowl was not the beginning of the breakup. Card's sister claims that it ended prior to kickoff. And the reason is because it's more intimate, or messy and petty than anything the blogs have ever covered. Remain there, because you won't be able to view this issue the same way after hearing what Card's sister stated on that live. Okay, let's go back in time, because you have to know what was going on long before any of us saw Cardi leave that stadium in order to comprehend why Cardi's sister went crazy on Instagram Live. Cardi B has been the epitome of a supportive girlfriend for weeks leading up to Super Bowl weekend. I'm traveling to show up and be there for her partner. Everything appeared to be in order from the outside. However, insiders claim that tension had been rising behind the scenes for months. Furthermore, it wasn't only just one thing, there was a pattern. Cardi had been silently cataloguing and disregarding a gradual build-up of disrespect, broken promises, and warning signs because she wanted this song to succeed. This is the important portion. Cardi was prepared for that Super Bowl weekend. She was aware of Stefon's difficult circumstances with his baby mothers. She was aware of the disorganized timeframes. She is an adult woman. She knew what she was getting into since she had experienced enough. However, she believed that she had a clear understanding of limits, who would be present, how things would be handled, and most significantly, that her partner would keep her peace in a scenario where music might easily get out of control. That deal broke down. I will get to the individual who blew it up in a moment. First, though, let's talk about what everyone continues ignoring. Sources close to Cardi claim that the problem had nothing to do with the Super Bowl. The stage was only the Super Bowl. Card's sister had finally had enough of the months-long rehearsals for the show as she sat at home and watched everything happen in real time. She went live. And she said every word without holding back. Imagine this. Super Bowl weekend is here. The game is taking place. Cardi has already departed from the stadium. The internet is going crazy trying to figure out what went wrong. Theories are posted on blogs. Music fans are conjecturing. Card's sister then goes live. Card's sister is not renowned for her quiet demeanor. She is not the kind to watch helplessly as her family is publicly denigrated. She obviously hit her breaking point after seeing this scenario with Stefon Diggs get worse. She allegedly made blatant fun of Stefon during that live performance. Nor subtly, nor mysteriously. She entered with a sense of pleasure rather than despair, as if she had been waiting a long time to say something, and the Super Bowl had finally given her the chance. The fact that Stefon lost the game, the battle on the field, and Cardi all on the same night is said to have made her giggle. She referred to it as karma. She made it quite evident that, in her opinion, as well as, supposedly, at Cards, this situation had reached its end well before that stadium. She wasn't lamenting a romantic connection. She was commemorating an escape. Music. Then she revealed the information that turned things around. Before the game even began, Cardi had already made up her mind, based on what she stated on that live. Give that some thought. She took off. In that suit, she sat. After watching that halftime show, she had already made up her mind to go. They remained together after the Super Bowl. It merely provided Cardi with a public timestamp for a choice she had already taken in private. What was the initial issue then? When did Cardi begin to psychologically check herself out? This is the point at which the story becomes extremely complex. Let's discuss. Kiki. As she is not an arbitrary figure in this narrative, Kiki is supposedly Stefon's favorite baby mum. And for more than a year, she has reportedly been a constant source of discord in Cardi and Stefon's relationship. But according to the official narrative, Kiki's last-minute arrival was the catalyst for the Super Bowl turmoil. Stefon's mother was initially scheduled to accompany their son, but Kiki entered at the last minute, obtained a ticket, sat in general admission, and began blogging right away. The exact thing Cardi had been attempting to control suddenly erupted all over the internet after blogs picked it up in a matter of minutes. However, Card's sister clarified this during that live event. This was not unexpected. There was a trend here. Kiki was making last-minute changes, feeding stories to websites, and using her son as leverage to get into Cardi's spaces, all while grinning. She had been doing this for months, and the Super Bowl was just the most prominent manifestation of it.
Picked it up immediately. Exactly what Cardi was trying to avoid. The issue is boundaries, protection, and...
Then there's Christmas. Because people forget Cardi and Stefon didn't even spend the holidays together. It came music out that she kept her kids away from his whole situation over the same concerns. Some of the baby mamas didn't want their children around unless they were physically music present too. Sound familiar? The same energy, the same dynamic, the same pattern Cardi was living with month after month.
He being at the Super Bowl last minute. Y'all already know she came with "my baby can't be there if I'm not there."
And during all of this, what was Stefon doing? Not enough, Card's sister said. He wasn't putting his foot down, and he wasn't shielding Cardi from the chaos that was around him. And when a dad with 4 children under 1-year-old and 6 baby mamas is unable to handle the drama in his own life that always falls on his partner, Cardi was bearing the emotional burden of an uncontrollable circumstance. This is the point at which Card's sister took the initiative. Because, according to reports, she mentioned Offset, and not in a subtle way. She made the straight comparison. Because, consider it, in 2024, Cardi finally left Offset after 7 years of a disastrous marriage marked by constant infidelity, public humiliation, breakups, and makeups that the entire world witnessed. It took her some time to recover. Then Stefon Diggs emerged, pledging respect, peace, and to be everything Offset wasn't. What did Cardi receive too? A man invited the mistress of his girlfriend's ex-husband to his Super Bowl. A guy whose infants were running wild in the stands and on the field. A man who supposedly couldn't even manage the mayhem well enough to keep Cardi from getting humiliated on the largest stage in the world. According to reports, Card's sister stated it clearly. She recognized Offset's tendencies in Stefon's actions. Cardi hadn't spent 6 months recovering from one circumstance before walking straight into another while sporting a different jersey, so that was unacceptable. Here's what Cardi's sister reportedly said without feeling any regret. Cardi is not depressed. She's not sobbing over Stefon Diggs in a hotel room. She ended that chapter neatly, decisively, and without turning back, much like you would close a book whose conclusion you already knew. After all of this, the Instagram Live, the Super Bowl exit, the unfulfilled Christmas, the Kiki pandemonium, the Offset comparisons, etc., let's land this plane. What's the real lesson here? At the Super Bowl, Cardi B did not have a big, impetuous outburst. One baby mama's post on her story didn't prompt her to storm out. She left a relationship that had been subtly demeaning her for several months. And her sister went on Instagram Live to ensure that the truth was revealed before the blogs covered it up with noise, not to stir up controversy. Many people in Card's position would never publicly discuss what Card's sister revealed. Those couples where one partner is blatantly awful aren't always the riskiest. More, they are the places where people make pledges, better, and then gradually demonstrates to you that they are unable to meet your expectations. Because you can't stop waiting for the promise to come true. They are the toughest to leave. For a long time, there was disagreement among sources regarding whether or not they would reconcile. Cardi's close friends suggested she was only venting, that she would calm down and give Stefon an opportunity to make things right. However, that door might be permanently closed following that Instagram Live, as her sister went online and effectively buried him in front of thousands of people. In all honesty, Perhaps done is precisely where she should be at this moment, given everything Card has been through, including the years of on again, off again, and public humiliation. Not only is she over Stefon, but she's also over picking men who make her shrink in order to keep the relationship going. Because this is the true headline of it all. Cardi B did not dump Stefon Diggs during the Super Bowl. Cardi B ultimately made the decision to be herself, and her sister made sure everyone knew why. And that's the whole image, everyone. Card's sister didn't live to be a disaster. She continued by correcting the record. You have to acknowledge that IG Live said everything the blogs were too afraid to, regardless of whether you support Cardi, Stefon, or are just there for the drama.